Watch the ride.
Hey everybody, having made well over 1,000 videos on YouTube now and been on here for about 6 or 7 years at this point, I've actually lost track. I've used a lot of different motorcycle gear, and because of all the different videos, I have different gear in different videos, and people still watch my old videos, so I get questions all the time about what gear am I wearing. And I know people are really interested to know sort of what gear you used and what you thought of it and stuff like that, so I thought, do you know what, because I happen to have most of it around, I'm going to do a video of all of my bike gear I've ever used, pretty much. I mean everything, from all my helmets, all my gloves, most of the jackets I think, not that there's that many, but yeah, and I've got things like Kevlar Jeans and Luggage and everything basically, so I thought, well, let's just go through it, let you know what I had, what I went to next, what I thought of the things. I'll try and keep this as short as possible, but I don't know, I just this 30-minute thing is in my head somewhere, but I'm going to try and be as quick as possible and I'm wasting more time. So let's start at the top, helmets. Okay, quick bit of history. I started riding about 10 years ago, not quite yet, and the first 7 years were on 125s, and then since then I've been on bigger bikes, and I've ridden a lot of different bigger bikes, but let's start at the beginning with helmets and where it all began. My first bike was a Pulse Adrenaline 125cc. Thing went for over 5 years until it snapped in half in a crash. Great thing. Anyway, first helmet was this, which is a Takachi. I've seen these on sale still. You might notice this here. This is creosote from a wooden fence that I went into, and that's when I got rid of this helmet because I had a crash in it, so it was no longer any good, but also I learned how rubbish these helmets are. When I hit the fence, and it was because I went into a corner slightly too fast, back end stepped out, corrected it, braked, went in a straight line, boom, into a fence. This chin guard just moved out of the way and I got knocked clean out. This helmet is rubbish. I've heard stories of someone dropping one of these out of the boot of their car and the chin guard shattered. So, ill-advised, but we all did it to start with. Learned my lesson, next helmet, went kind of extreme the other way and I bought this Noland. It was on offer, but it had a few features that I liked. It was a flip front. It had a pin lock, but it didn't stay in very well. This isn't legal to ride with it open, it isn't one of those ones. Flip front helmets like this have got two ratings basically. One, you're allowed to ride with the helmet with it up, and the other ones you're not. Because this one where you're not allowed to do that, the structural rigidity is kept by the chin bar, and without that, this helmet's not really doing much for anyone. But it was an alright helmet, it was very quiet, it was very heavy, but it was handy, and I didn't mind it. But this got dropped on the floor by a couple of people at my work, so yep, another helmet down. Okay, so the next helmet is this AGV Stealth, as you can see. I love this helmet, I love the look of it now, I like the look of it then. Well, you'll notice it doesn't look quite right, I'll get to that in a minute, but this helmet cost me about $99.99 I think it was. I got it on a sale in Hayling Island, and it's really light. Has it got a weight rating on it? No, it hasn't, but it's a very nice light helmet. It was a little bit noisy, but it wasn't too bad. But I say, I love this thing, but the main reason I love this thing, and what this is all about on the front, is, well, this helmet saved my life. About 5 years ago when I had a pretty bad crash when a car pulled out on me, resulted in multiple operations and a year of work lost over 2 years, but I'm still here. I hit my head hard because I had memory problems for about 3 months after that crash, but this helmet did its job. It didn't shatter anything, it took that brunt of the force and, like I say, did its job. So, AGV, good stuff. Do like these helmets, and if I was to buy another, this sort of, you know, normal standard type helmet shape, I would go for an AGV. So obviously that was knocked out of action with the bike, so it was new bike, new helmet, and I got myself, and yes, I still have this thing. A lot of people recognise me because, oh, this is, the AGV was the one that I started vlogging with, the very first vlogging helmet I had. So you'll know that from my very early days, and then the next videos were with this Icon variant with the gold tint visor. It's still got my Scala Rider 4G headset on there. Very quick side note of headsets I've used. Scala Rider G4, which I had all these years ago. Okay, but expensive. Not very good interconnectivity with multiple people, stuff like that. But it did the job at the time. Then I got the cheap BT headset ones, you know, the little lozenge shaped ones with a round circle. You've seen them under many different brands. I've got one made by Buy, actually. Bye! And then I went to a Cena 10C, which was great, but the camera wasn't all that good on it. And now I've got a Cena 30K, and it's the best headset that's made out there, in my opinion. But anyway, going off the subject there, but that's headsets. The Icon variant, I've made videos reviewing these. They have their flaws. They are quite heavy. They're a little bit noisy compared to some helmets, but I think they look awesome. But the main reason why I love it, and a lot of motovloggers love it so much, is this extra space up here allows for microphones and stuff like that, and it means that you're not talking like this in your helmet, so you get really nice audio from having that on the front. So I had that helmet for, let's see, how many years? I think I used this for like 2 or 3 years before I said, yeah, it's time to retire. Also, I lost a lot of weight in between. This is a XL. My next helmet, which was another Icon variant, but in silver, and with the silver mirror visor. I do have clears that I use, obviously, at the correct times of day. If you know about visor laws, I have a video talking about the laws on visors. There is my Cena 30K. Awesome headset. Yeah, this is just a large. I went down a size because I lost that much weight, and you'll see that in some of the other gear that I've got left over. You know what I think of these helmets. I absolutely love them. As I say, there are some flaws in them. The visors break. That's my retention mechanism. This visor, Icon sent me to replace the last one that did this only about, I don't know, I think it was just last year. So it lasted less than a year. And it's not such a problem, because it does stay up. The problem comes when you're going along at like 78 mile an hour and you've got a shoulder check and the pressure just makes it go pop, and then you've got a problem. Love the helmet, absolutely love the helmet. Just wish they'd sort those visors out. Okay, so they are all of my helmets that I've ever used. They actually live on my wall, apart from the one that I currently use, just on display because why not? Again, in this category I have every glove I've ever used. And we'll start at the beginning, when I first got my bike. I had these, I bought these, you can see these are Buffalo, big thick, wintry type gloves. I bought them for 20 quid, I used them like 3 or 4 times and realised they were absolutely horrible to use. And I went and bought myself a different pair of gloves. And these went and sat in a drawer for years and years and years, until I suddenly thought, man, these are windproof and warm, why am I not using them in winter? So on the windiest, coldest, nastiest days, I do use these. They don't have as much protection in them, but considering they're, as I say, nearly 10 years old, cost me 20 quid, and I've used them a fair amount, they're like new. I've got nothing I can say against these gloves, other than as your only glove, as an everyday riding glove, you wouldn't want to use these in the summer. I didn't really think about it, I was a bit of a noob in those days. Okay, so from those gloves, I was like, no, I want some of those more leathery, protective type gloves, so I bought these, which were very cheap. I think they were like 40 quid. Hayling, as you can see, very summery because they've got these like gauzy bits here. Yeah, they're okay, nothing brilliant. They're old, as I say. Hayling, if you don't know, is a company which doesn't exist in the UK anymore. They did take a crash because these are the ones that I was wearing when I went through the fence, and as you can see, the knuckles are all scuffed up from that. There's just plastic under here with like leather over the top, so it's not Kevlar or anything like that, but it did its job. I had twigs go through the gauze parts and stab me through the fingers. Yeah, it wasn't great. So that's why those got retired. Then I was like, okay, I want to get some nicer ones, so I bought these, which are Pro Sport gloves. Not a, oh my god. Not the best brand in the world, with some things. I've never really bought any of their gloves before, but these were, again, I think £40, or maybe those were 20 quid and these were 40 quid, I can't remember, but yeah, these are kangaroo skin palm. They've got, this metal protection here is supposed to help in a slide. I think they just get ripped off in seconds because they're just bobbles. Carbon fibre knuckles, which is carbon fibre. I didn't think it was, but it is, and it's going a funny colour with age, like carbon does. They were alright, not that bad, but you're noticing now a trend in a shape. The whole gauntlet style, because these, yeah, they were alright, but why did I get rid of them? Yeah, there you go, this is why. This is why I stopped using them. They're not gloves anymore, they're not really doing their job. So I got rid of those, and I was like, okay, I've got a bit more money at this point in time, because this thing, I've always been on a budget. I always have been from day one. But I was like, sometimes it's worth spending a good amount of money to get the thing that you want. As you see, I've been through multiple pairs of gloves, and what I should have done in the first place was gone and bought, which ones are which, these, some Alpine Star SP1 gloves. Now, you will know, if you've been watching my channel for a while, I had these gloves, as you can tell, for years. They were absolutely amazing. I loved them in every single way, but they did fall apart relatively quickly, but yeah, relatively quickly. For the money, because these should have been 130 quid or something. I think I got them for about 80, but yeah, Kevlar knuckles, all of that. But as I say, I had a love affair with these gloves. I would not get another pair when I bought them. So when these died, I ended up buying another pair. And I've done a video talking about this. Maybe I'll have to put that in the description or something. But I was talking about gloves in general and how the quality in Alpine Star dropped significantly between the two. These are the same gloves, but they're not made the same way, and these wore out in, like, I can't remember the exact amount of time, but it was not very long before, well, one, as you can tell, they're really faded, and these are the originals that are still black, and these have gone, like, brown. And yeah, that's right, and the finger broke through on that finger again. Sewed it up a few times and it broke again. I was like, that's it, had enough. And oh, on the Velcro, that was it. Also, the Velcro went on these, and it did it on the other ones as well. The Velcro became not very good, and it used to undo itself. So that's one of the reasons why I stopped using the Alpine Stars, because the quality was going down and it just wasn't good. But I loved the shape. When these were brand new, they were the best gloves I ever owned. Until I got my current gloves, the Nox Handroid. These, admittedly, are expensive gloves. These are 200 quid. But you got a Velcro wrist strap, as normal, but you have the ratchet system, the boa system that does it up. This has got a lifetime warranty on it. There's no Velcro to worry about. They are super comfortable. They have a lot of extra protection. Yep, they're a bit weird bionic looking because they've got these like tendrils that move. But that's to give you protection over all of your fingers without reducing your movement of your hand. These are everything I thought these were, but more. These are fantastic. The quality of these is far much better. Again, kangaroo palm, which I believe is like one of the most supple, strongest leathers there is. It's why they use it in gloves, because it's thin and you get the feel. But these, without question, are the best gloves I've ever used. I love them. I'd love to just use these from now on. But obviously I know for a lot of people 200 quid is a lot of money for a pair of gloves. So if you're looking to get your first pair of gloves, you're going to basically have this sort of choice. They're like 40 odd quid route, they're about £100 route, or they're like £200 route. You're not going to go for the top end stuff because you're riding 125. It's not really worth spending that much money on your gear. No, you need the protection, but you don't need to go to the point of, like, you know, this is like a race glove almost. The Alpine Star I wouldn't promote anymore because they fall apart far too quickly, and I wouldn't have said there was anything in this that wasn't in this, really, apart from these are slightly better made, and the cut of these was great. And this is where I've got some quite good news for you, and I'll talk about this more in a minute when I get to the Kevlar Jeans section. But I'm partnering up with a website called theriderteam.com. Basically, if you know Rock Jeans, it's now where they sell their jeans to the UK. But they also do a sort of a more budget brand called MRT, or I can't help but read that as Mr. T, or any of these things. But anyway, they're doing gear which, you know, it's cheaper, but it's actually really good. As I say, the Rock Jeans, I'll get to that in a minute, but I've lived in them. I'm wearing them now. I've lived in Rock Jeans literally daily for like 5 years. These are currently the Generation 3, and they are selling, MRT is selling the Generation 1s at like 40 quid. So we'll go into that in a minute, but anyway, these are their gloves. As you can see, I thought this was quite funny. MRT, see this glove? Looks alright, doesn't it? Alpine Star, very similar looking. It's got all the same characteristics, and it's got the same sort of cut. You know, it's got the same sort of ridge things on the knuckles. These are very, very similar to the SP1s. These are like 40 quid. And with the discount code of mine, you can actually get 5% off, as well as 5% off the Rock Jeans, which is, say, now available in the UK again, and the MRT jeans, which are the Rock Gen 1 jeans rebranded, basically. Yeah, but these gloves are like 30 quid, as I say. They're made of nice leather, they're put together well, they feel strong, they're very comfortable. They do have a soft liner in them, but it's not loose, because a lot of cheap gloves, the liner and the outer seem to not be very well like matted together, and they can come apart. These don't feel like that at all. I've ridden with them. Yeah, they're great. I don't see where, you know, where the extra money went into these Alpine Stars. So, highly recommend these gloves. Oh no, the logo here, I'm not a massive fan of that logo, but they're going to be changing it to this one all over. So, be aware you can get these for like 30 quid and money off with my code, which I will be putting on the screen, because it's like extra 5-spicy110. And I'll put the website description and all of that stuff. I used to use normal jeans when I rode a bike, then I had a crash and I learnt why you don't do that. They do nothing for you. Zero, zilch, nothing. You touch your knee on the road with normal jeans, you're already on your skin. It's just straight through. Don't believe this, oh, it buys you 4 seconds. No, it just doesn't. It's not. It's a load of rubbish. You need a minimum level of protection of a Kevlar jean, which is basically a pair of jeans which are denim, but on the inside they have Kevlar, which means that the denim can get worn through, but then the Kevlar underneath protects you. Sometimes it's not Kevlar, it's different composites, but it's basically doing the same job. It's this thing that doesn't get abraded through. So I'm going to call it Kevlar, but in different places well, I think it all is Kevlar. I don't want to get into the legal problems of, you know, what isn't this and brand names and stuff because of DuPont and... They're protective jeans. So after my crash, I got some rock jeans. Now rock jeans, let me find my first pair. So I am wearing a pair at the moment. These are a different size. These are the first rock jeans I had. So they are Kevlar jeans, but inside them, as you can see, this is the Kevlar, and this is the important thing everyone's got to know. They are like all of the butt, down the backs of the legs, down the front part to your sort of where your knee is, and then you've got the knee armour which is in here, and then below here is where your boot would be. So you've got Kevlar in all the right places that you need it. I say I wore these jeans for literally years. And I'd wear them daily, I'd wash them, I'd tumble dry them that I don't think you're supposed to do, and they have, well look, there's nothing wrong with them, they're faded and they're absolutely perfect. I used to use these because of the damage from the crash on my knees. Having knee armour means I can kneel on it because I can't kneel directly on my knee because of the damage that's left. But I've been kneeling on these on the floor many times, haven't even worn through. So these Rock Gen 3s, which are available in the store with that code you can get the money off, are 75 quid. Now, these are also what Jake, the Garden Snake, used to promote. You've seen loads of videos of people having crashes. He knew someone who had a pair of these he crashed in so many times, like, all the denim was all broken up and destroyed, but the Kevlar was absolutely fine underneath, and he was still using them and not having a problem. There's videos out there of these being tested. These are, without question, I think, some of, if not the best Kevlar jeans you can get, and the fact that they're that cheap is pretty amazing. They have removable hip armours, and they also have removable knee armours, and the good thing about rock jeans, the knee armour zips on the outside of the legs. None of this going inside to try and get it out, and it's on the outside. Just unzip it, and there it is. And because that's on Velcro, you can shift it around and blah blah blah. So, as I say, minimum level of protection is Kevlar jeans. If you want a pair of Kevlar jeans, I don't see how you can get any better than these. Also, the cut of these is very nice, it's very comfortable. They use a stretch material in them. As I say, these are the only Kevlar jeans I use. I wouldn't want to use anyone else's because these are so good. And I know that's a very strong thing to say, but you know if you watch my videos, if you look down in the videos and wearing a black pair of jeans, it's because it's my rock jeans, and as I say, I live in them. Absolutely fantastic. Those ones are too big for me because I lost loads of weight, so I've got smaller ones. They do them in black, they also do them in blue. These are another pair of Gen 3s. That brings me on to Motor Rider Team. But remember the website is theriderteam.com. These are basically Rock Gen 1s. On the inside they have the same amount of Kevlar pretty much, not quite. It doesn't go down the back of the leg so much, or the other side, I don't know. But it's not quite so much. And the knee armours go on the inside, they're a little bit more tricky to get to. And rather than being one of those hard shell armours like that comes with the Rock jeans, it's that standard stuff, you know, just for a bit of impact protection. You could replace those with some higher quality ones, you know, there's nothing wrong with doing that. There's nothing wrong with these, but these are literally like the bare minimum they put in. And the hip armours are just flat pieces of the same material, so, you know, that's not as good as the rock jeans. The denim feels good, they're very strong. So as I say, these are the Motor Rider Team, which is basically the Gen 1 Rocks rebranded, 40 quid. And you can get that 5% off using my code, and anything else on that website, as I understand it. As basic level of protection, if you're going to wear normal jeans, get some of these if you're not going to get anything else. I would say, personally, go for the rock jeans, because, you know, they're that much better and the knee armour's better and stuff like that. But if you can't stretch that far, if your budget is a budget, and your budget is like 45 quid, well, you haven't got a choice. So, these, great jeans, definitely recommend them. But as I say, these are what I would call minimum level of protection. You know, they're good, but they are the bare minimum that you want to be using. The rock jeans You know, they're twice the price basically, but they're really good. I'm quite happy to ride at 70 miles an hour in these, and know if I come off, they might not completely protect me, but they're going to do an awful lot more than wearing normal jeans. And actually, as I say, from seeing all the crashes that people have, I do get the feeling they might just be absolutely fine. So don't forget, on the riderteam.com website you can get the rock jeans now in the UK, you can get the MRT jeans, you can get the MRT gloves, they do full armoured hoodies. All their stuff, as far as I've seen, is good quality for the price. And even, as I say, well, like the rock jeans, it's good quality, and I don't see why the other companies are charging like 150, 200 quid for a pair of Kevlar jeans when theirs are just as good, if not better. And one of the main things for me is the cut. I just love the cut of them, they're so comfortable. They're all available on that website. Use that code, link in the description, and yeah, I do get a little kickback from that, but I'm going to be honest with you about any gear that I get from them, because you know I always do, because there's no point in me telling you something isn't true. But anyway, Kevlar jeans, as you say, they are your minimum level. Because I ride a lot of bigger bikes and I go a lot faster at times, I like to feel like I'm properly protected, or I have the best protection that I can have. So I do have full leathers, and that's why I need to go over here a second. You've seen these in videos possibly. These are my Frank Thomas leathers. You know, leather trousers. Frank Thomas is a brand that's basically J&S. It's not the best stuff in the world, but it is reasonably priced, and it does the job. And I'm actually very pleased with these, because these weren't nearly as expensive as some of the big brands, and have lasted me well, and are wearing in fine. So yeah, leather trousers. They have hip armour in them, they have padding down the sides of the whole of the leg, they've got massive protection in the knee with big squidgy but very sort of encompassing knee armours that feel very comfortable on your knees. So as I say, these are great. I do highly recommend them. Note, I did have the fly on these break. The zip went, and I sent them back to them, and within 5 or 6 days I had them back and they were fixed. So yeah, I can't complain about that. Sure, if I'm going to pay less, I can accept I might have a zip go here or there, but because they're so willing to just take it back, send it off, replace the zip and bring it back to you, I can't really complain. Okay, so jackets. My very first jacket was a leather jacket, but it was a cheap eBay jobby, 50, 60 quid, thought it would be okay. It started falling apart in weeks. If I crashed in the actual thing, God, it probably would have just fallen off of me. So it's worth spending the money on a reasonable jacket. I personally like leather jackets. I'm not a huge fan of textile stuff, just never have been. But I can see actually in the cold and wet, as I get older, maybe I will look into textiles more, and I might get a top box and everything. But anyway, my first decent leather jacket was this one from Hayling, which had a cool story behind it, because I won 100 quid on a scratch card, and this was on sale, and it was like £150 reduced from like 250 or 300 or something like that, and the only one they had left in the company just so happened to be in the store that I was in my size. You know, it was meant to be. I was a lot heavier in these days, as you will note. But this was a fantastic jacket. It fitted me perfectly. The leather is strong. I mean, I used this for years and years and years. I even went through, I did a video where I basically restored it because it was so worn that everything looked like green where the leather had come through, and I used some restorer on it, if you remember. People said to me that won't last 5 minutes. It's about a year or so since that video. Did great. But yeah, as you can see, little extra leather going on in the front. I love the cut of this jacket, it's really comfortable, but sadly, yet again, Hayling Island don't exist in the UK anymore, so forget this, you're not buying it. And that is where the second half of my Frank Thomas leathers come in, which is the top half. Very, very comfortable jacket. I love the leather this is made of. It's got a nice cut, it's got good arm movement, you know, because it has been worn in a bit. Zips together in the middle, you know, the style is it all the way around the middle of your trousers to your jacket so it doesn't pull down at the back. That's one of the things if you're wearing jeans in a jacket, is try and get the jeans up a good way like a granddad, because when you get on the bike and lean forward, you get the jeans going down and the jacket coming up, and then people see your butt crack. And you don't want that, you don't want a cherry butt crack. Nothing bad to say about this jacket. I did improve the back armour in it. It had a standard, you know, the foam pad, a bit like what's in the MRT cheaper jeans. I got I'm not even sure who made it, it was just a random extra multi-layer back protector, you know, like the mesh type, because it's, again, a bare minimum, you need to protect your back. The elbow armour that's in it is the standard stuff, and that again is very much like the stuff that's in the MRT jeans, but it's just a little bit firmer maybe, and again, shoulder armour. But this jacket, love it. It is a summer jacket, but I wear it all round, really. And when I say it's a summer jacket, it has a liner which is removable, which is in at the moment. But you know, it's got all its pockets. And again, it was super cheap. I think I paid easily less than £300 for my two-piece leathers. So, not a bad deal at all. Again, I think I had the zip break on this, sent it back, resolved it, not a problem. So yes, J&S, Frank Thomas. It's good quality stuff. The zips seem to be a bit poor, which is a shame, but that often happens with stuff, and I'll get onto that with some boots. But the leather and the rest of the stitching seems absolutely fine. So, okay, the next two pieces of kit are essential riding wear. The Spicy110 hoodie is available, as well as it's available as a t-shirt. Look at the lovely design. Zip front, Spicy110 on the front. Don't you love it? Fits over your leathers, got a hood. Nice and soft and comfy. That's one option. The other option is, how many times have you been told that it's not legal to filter? Well, you can let them know that it is with the Yes It's Legal filtering hoodie. Also available as a t-shirt. This is the non-zipped version, but we do the zip version, so you can put it over your leathers easier. And I have testimonials from people saying things like, since I've had this, I have not had a single person shout at me, it's not legal. But maybe they just got lucky. But yeah, those are available from my store, links in the description. Moving on, luggage. God, we're going to get through this quickly now. As you saw recently, because I did a giveaway of one of these, I have this backpack, which is a hard shell backpack, actually being quite handy. But I don't use it really all the time, to be honest, because I use this, which you will know, you'll recognise, which is a Krieger R25 backpack, the best motorcycle backpack made in the world, without question in my opinion. As you see, it does up like a parachute harness, straps on the front, sits nicely on your back. Very comfortable. You can adjust these straps. When you've got a lot of weight in there, you feel it pull on your chest, not on your shoulders. It's been through crashes. You see that big crash with the AGV. I went grinding down the road on my face, basically, as well as into the car. And these took a little scuff, but they're absolutely fine. As I say, this is a good bag because it's 15 quid and it does the job. This is a good bag because it's the best thing that's made for a backpack as a motorcyclist, but these are well over 100 quid. These are expensive, expensive bags. I've had this one for over 4 or 5 years, I think, at this point. I wouldn't do without it, and when this one finally breaks, if it does, I will be knocking down Krieger's door to get another one. Because, and that's the other thing, do you notice that? This is the thing, right? Right, this has been designed by bikers for bikers, and you know this because there's real issues which you know from using the product, from using a bag, a standard bag when you have leathers on, which is when you go to get your arm out, how many of you end up doing this? For like 5 minutes. Well, because of this design, it's so easy and so simple. If you're willing to spend the money and you want the best backpack you can get, buy that. If you're after something slightly smaller, there is the Krieger R3, which is like a, well, it's a bum bag, but it's a fantastic, it's a waist pack really. Very good. It carries quite a lot of stuff. You can get about 3 full-size cans of Coke next to each other in it with a bit of space either side to give you an idea of the internal space. I've got a review video on the R25 and the R3, so if you want to know about that, go and look at that one. Not the cheapest of packs, but this is very good and it's waterproof and all those good things. And the last piece of luggage I'm going to show you is this Lex-Tech tail pack. Very cheap thing, but it's a good amount of storage space on your bike that you can take with you if you need to go and get something bigger. I've got a review on this as well, but it's basically what I just said. It's cheap and it works, and it straps onto your bike using these straps. You can see in the video more about that. Oh, neck things. You know, this time of year we all wear scarves. You know, you get those cheap tubey ones that are like $7.99 or something for 3 on that card. Oxford do them. Don't get them. They're rubbish. They're rubbish. Buy one of these. This is an Alpine Star Tech Neck. It is £15 off Amazon. If I can find you a link, I'll find you a link. This is the warmest, best neck scarf you will ever get, and you will not want to use the other ones. The other ones let wind through. This isn't claimed to be windproof, but it seems to stop the wind. It's double lined. It's got like what's that stuff called? Fleece. It's like stuff on the inside. It's got this more meshy material on the outside. You got this section to put over your mouth so you can breathe. But you get this right up round your head, round here. Pull your helmet down so you're covered, so you're nice and warm from here down to here. Get it over under your jacket. Do this up, and you don't ever get a cold neck. One of the best things I've ever bought. Alpine Star Tech Neck. Seriously, I know I'm saying a lot about that, but it's that much better than those tubey ones that just don't seem to do a thing. And the last thing is boots, and I'm going to be quite quick with this because I can't show you all of them. The first pair of bike boots that I used weren't really bike boots, they were bike boots. They were actually New Rocks. They weren't the big thick-heeled ones, they were a standard looking boot with multiple straps on the side, and I absolutely loved them. They didn't give off much ankle protection and stuff like that, but they were thick enough and strong enough to be used as a bike boot. They were about 140 quid, and they lasted for years and years and years. Until the Velcro started going and stuff like that, and then it was like that. So after having a big clodhopper type boot, I wanted something more sporty, the more sleek type of boot, you know, and I bought some Oxford bone dry boots. Do not buy them, they are rubbish. I don't actually buy any Oxford products because of how bad some of my experiences with that company have been and how poor I have found their customer services to be personally. However, I have done recent polls on this, and the outcome is about, I said basically, what do you think of Oxford products customer service, and it was almost 50-50 between yeah, it's excellent and good, and it's absolutely terrible and bad. So it depends. It's about 50-50, and of course people's opinion as to whether they should have replaced something where they actually should have done or not it varies. So you know, but I will not use any Oxford products. Other than the Oxford lock, the big lock I've got, is actually alright. Now I've seen some tests on it and they're like, no, it's alright. It's not brilliant, but it's alright. Anyway, getting away off the subject there, but I just want to say that. So I got rid of those and I got some Icon boots. I have to take these off because I'm actually wearing them in the garage. So I had these. You'll recognise these. These are the Icon Elsinore 1000 range boot. Absolutely love these when they're new and clean. They look great. They're great to be using on like a Supermoto. However, the zips broke on my first pair quite quickly. I tried to see if I could get the zips replaced locally, and they wanted about £50 per boot, which would have meant basically nearly the cost of the boot to fix the zips. I got another pair from Icon, and again the zips broke in the exact same way, and I had some buckles go a bit weird on them. I mean, yeah. They're nice, they look nice, but they just couldn't keep up with my uses, that's all I can guess. So after that I got some RST boots, and they are probably worse actually than the Oxford boots, to be fair, because they just fell apart without any help. Zips broke on those multiple times, just terrible. From my understanding, and it does seem to be becoming true, RST of old, their gear was pucker good stuff. Nowadays, particularly the boots, possibly some of the gloves, it depends, are terrible. Don't buy them. But the weird thing is, after that I said, look, I asked everyone, I said, look, can you tell me what bike boots have you been using that have just lasted for years? The answer, if you want a pair of boots which is going to last forever, is Siddies. But you're looking at like £300 to £400 for a pair of boots. They're worth it, I'm sure, but I've never had that much cash to put in a pair of boots. And I had quite a lot of people say, BKS actually do some boots, and they're alright. These look just like the Oxford boots and the RST boots, but the difference is, these are good. The zips have lasted a long time. I walk in them, they haven't degraded, the leather hasn't degraded. They're absolutely wonderful, comfy boots. They're not waterproof in the slightest, but there is a waterproof version available. I have recommended these to other people, and I believe they're happy with them. As some of you will have noticed on my Instagram, I walk places in these because I currently really only have one pair of shoes. Priorities! If you're not getting on your bike, you're getting off your bike, so why would you possibly need any other footwear? Rain suit. I put off buying one of these for years. This is you know, the all-in-one man boil in the bag thing. Rain suit. This is made by IXS, who you all know of, maybe if you watch Jake. The gear that IXS sell in the UK seems to be a very different grade to what the Americans get. You know, some of the IXS gear that the Americans get looks fantastic. And when I spoke to people in this country, and I'm like, IXS, what do you think of their gear? And they're like, ooh, it's cheap stuff, isn't it? It's alright, but it's not great. Come on, IXS, sell some of yours. Send me some of it. I will review it. Sell it in the UK. You want decent stuff. Jake's stuff looks really nice. But anyway, yeah, it's a basic rain suit. It does leak a bit, but I do use it. It does help. Better than being, you know, completely drenched. So we got to the end. That is all of the gear that I've pretty much ever used and why I changed between what and what. My current setup of, you know, the Icon variant, my Knox gloves, my Frank Thomas leathers, or my Rock jeans, which I wear more than my leathers to be honest with you, and my BKS boots, I'm really happy and comfortable in that gear. none of it I want to replace. It's taken me time to like find the right glove, find the right jacket, find the right boot, and that's what I've ended up with. Now I do realise that a lot of the stuff, or quite a few of the bits that I've used there, are quite expensive, and the problem is, it is true, you get what you pay for. But not always, because when it comes to just getting your foot through the door with like minimum levels of protection, these gloves from MRT, as I said, there's a code to get a discount on these as well, these are fantastic. I mean, I haven't used them for like months on end to know what that's like, but I've used them for quite a few rides, and I've looked at a lot of different gloves, and I look at these and I'm like, there's nothing wrong with these. Nothing wrong with them at all. And again, the same for the minimum level of protection that you get offered by the MRT jeans, but the Rock jeans is like only a bit more, well, it is double the money, but they're that much better and I love them. So there you go, that is everything. I'm going to end the video there because it's way too long, but hopefully now whenever I get a question that says, hey Spicy, what bit of gear is that, I can just go, that video, everything I ever used, don't ask me anymore. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, all of those things, as if any of you are left. I'm talking to myself at this point. God, it's been nearly an hour long. Bye bye.